to combine this tarot card sorcery, Lord of the Rings type thing, the wizard flying over, you know, and then the fist coming out of the ocean grabbing the rainbow, this whole fantasy thing with hard rock.
Dragons and medieval times and the things that you see surrounding my home are part and parcel of my life. I read at such an early age and read all about dragons and knights and damsels in distress and great science fiction works, Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I was just, wow, I've got to create what these images are now myself. That's so cool. And so that's why eventually writing, I decided to put all the things that I wrote in this kind of fantasy area, which made you have to think, what is he talking about? Oh, he said that? I wonder what that looks like. I wanted people to have to use their imagination the way I did and create their own dragons.
Ronnie James Dio pioneered the fantasy-based imagery that's become part of the fabric of many contemporary metal bands. But the first band to create the modern metal sound and to actually identify as a true heavy metal band was Judas Priest.
Can we go back to Rockarola and Sad Wings of Destiny? How do you think Sad Wings was a different record than Rockarola?
I think the difference between Rockarola and Sad Wings of Destiny, the band grew up very, very quickly. Some of those Rockarola songs were already established in the band's repertoire, so by the time we got to Sad Wings, there was a growth, there was a definite growth going on.
It has a very metallic sound compared to, say, the early Sabbath records.
Yes.
How did you do it?
The first Sabbath albums were done in no time. Basically, they set up live, recorded it, maybe threw the vocal on at the end, that was it. Sad Wings took quite a few months of intensive overdubs, and it's orchestrated, except we don't have violins and orchestral instruments. We've got drums, guitars, and bass, but if you arrange them like you would a classical piece of music, that's heavy metal.
Judas Priest represent a distinct shift away from the blues roots of metal. Their chord changes and the progressions are not based on that old 1-4-5 blues 12-bar kind of thing. They become a distinct metal that has no real prior antecedents. It's now a style.
Where did you get the inspiration to create what is now a hallmark of what you guys do, the two-guitar approach?
One band in particular was called Wishbone Hash. They had a couple of guitar players, and they were not heavy in any particular way, but it just seemed to be really a good idea at the time, because the sound was just fuller. You know, it was almost like a stereo effect on the stage. We were very excited about it.
There were bands before Judas Priest that had two guitars in them, but they almost seemed like disassociated with each other. It was just two guitarists in the band, you know, Brad Whitford and Joe Perry, or Keith Richards and whoever was the guitarist at the time. The twin guitars chugging away on a really good, solid meat and potatoes riff is something that comes from Judas Priest.
You know, this as a kid, that guy I'd never heard before. Tipton would just tear your head off. His leads, they were blistering. And then KK, on the other hand, was the madman. You know, the guy holding the flying V and, you know, playing a whammy bar like this.
Judas Priest's influence on modern metal went beyond their dual guitar approach. They also established a look that would become the uniform of the heavy metal culture.
It's one thing to have the music, but it's another thing to have the visual, so that everybody around the planet can connect and go, yeah, that's it. The way that looks is totally representative of the sound of the music. All I wear is black. Just, I don't feel, you'll never find me never wearing black.
So many of the other bands, they were still kind of wearing, obviously out there in denims and different things, but you did have a sense of excitement, that it was kind of fresh, you know, and you had a sense that the audience recognised the fact that, well, this is new, this is metal.
The big three never really self-identified or adopted the concept of heavy metal. With you guys, You claimed it.
There was a period, wasn't there, where people were really sort of not admitting that they were metal, but in Priest we always maintained that we were proud to fly the flag of metal.
We're who we are, we believe in ourselves, we're strong about what we feel we want to do. So yeah, right from the very beginning, that's all we ever wanted to be known as in Judas Priest was. We're heavy metal.